What's up, guys? This is Dylan, back at it again with episode 2 for Next on Deck. I just wanted to thank you, everybody, for the support. I know, 80 views doesn't seem like a lot to you, but for me, that was a lot more than I was expecting. So I just appreciate all the support I've gotten, from my friends and family. And you're probably wondering why my dad isn't here today for this episode. He also got 2 jobs, so he's been pretty busy lately. So today will just be me, and we're gonna talk about the virtual draft. I know it was a while ago, but we did the first episode, and I thought you guys would like to see my reaction of the draft. Also wanted to say, if you guys have any suggestions, please snap me, DM me. I'll put my Instagram in the description. But anything, going from what topics you want to hear, if you want to have any special guests on, I plan on doing a series where, like, since no sports are going on, where we go through. I'll have someone on that's a fan of a team. For example, my best friend Zach. He's a fan of the Patriots, obviously. So I'm a Steelers fan. So, like, it's not really a rivalry. It's kind of a one-sided one, to be honest with you, because they always dominate us in the playoffs, like the AFC Championship. Let's kind of talk about what the expectations are for the season when it resumes. Kind of looking at their future. So, that's what kind of thinking with this. As not as much enticing or like interesting sports news is really coming out. So I was so glad that the NFL was still able to do the draft, and I was really surprised, honestly, how well it went, in my opinion, with the whole virtual draft and everything. I thought, like, people's cameras weren't gonna, like, be positioned right, or someone was gonna, like, too many people would be on the Wi-Fi and the Wi-Fi would crash. I know that happens in my house, like, all the time. But yeah, I think it went pretty well. But overall, I mean, the draft to me kind of blew my mind, to be honest. Because the first couple picks, I think everyone could have predicted it. It went kind of, the first like 40 minutes or whatever was kind of slow, because I was like, okay, Joe Burrow, made sense first overall. Then Chase Young, you were kind of thinking that the Redskins might trade out, but I think they did the smart thing, in my opinion, picking Chase Young. Like I said in the last episode, it's usually I don't support Ohio State players that much, just because I'm a Penn State fan. So, like, Ohio State's like a rival, so it's kind of hard supporting them. But he's I think he's like another Nick Bosa, basically. I don't know if he'll have the same impact, because Nick Bosa probably could have won, like, he probably could have won Defensive Player of the Year if he wasn't hurt as much. But yeah, so that's, and then Jeff Okudah is an easy pick, especially since the Lions just traded away Darius Slay, which in my opinion they could have got a little bit more out of the trade. I understand with, like, he's a bit older, and he's more expensive, but still, he's still a top corner. Like, he's still got a decent amount of years left. When it really started getting interesting was the 4th pick with the Giants, when they picked Andrew Thomas. I was baffled, because he wasn't even the best offensive lineman, in my opinion, especially because Isaiah Simmons was right there for the taking. He was just sitting there. He was probably waiting on the phone, trying to get that call. And then when he heard that the Giants picked Andrew Thomas, he was probably looking around being like, what is going on right now? Because he's like, I should be picked over no lineman. But, like, I get why the Giants did it. They needed Saquon. You need the run support for Saquon, and Daniel Jones. He doesn't have Odell, so Sterling Shepard is his best receiver. You could argue that Evan Ingram is, but they're solid, but, like, they're not gonna get open in like 2 seconds. So, like, Daniel Jones has got to have some time to throw, and he was a rookie quarterback, but he's a young one, so he's gonna need that time in the pocket. So that pick kind of made sense. So I kind of went ahead and I made a list of the winners and losers in the NFL draft, and kind of my opinion on how everybody went. So the winners, which the first winner in my opinion is the Ravens. I mean, they got J.K. Dobbins in the second round, who is a solid running back, and I was kind of surprised, especially since they have Mark Ingram. They have a couple other young running backs, but the pick kind of it made sense, in my opinion. And they got that great linebacker in the first round, and Malik Harrison, who another guy from Ohio State. Great defensive weapon, and I really think that he's going to help the Ravens defense out, especially when Earl Thomas is on his way out. I don't know when that's going to be. He still looks good, so we'll see when that happens. But even when it does, I mean they're gonna be set for a while, especially with Lamar. But yeah, I think the Ravens did a really good job in this draft, and they were one of my winners. So the second winner I have is the Cowboys. And I think it was kind of an obvious one because I don't know how, but CeeDee Lamb, I know the wide receiver class, like, there wasn't like a, defining best receiver, but I mean, I don't know. In my opinion, I thought CeeDee Lamb was the best receiver for sure. Like, I mean, he put up some great numbers, and him and Jalen Hurts like really had a good connection. So I don't understand why he dropped that far, but the Cowboys really they really took advantage of it, and I think it was kind of like a screw you to the Eagles a little bit too, because though those Eagles fans were on like the edge of their seat just waiting for CeeDee Lamb to drop to them. But, the Cowboys, they didn't really need CeeDee Lamb in my I don't know. I mean, they just locked down Amari Cooper for a while. I mean, I know he is very streaky. Like, I think at home games they said he averages like, I don't know, he averages like 80 to 100 yards, and then like away games it's like 40. So it's a big difference, but I feel like that's also having to do with Dak. You know what I mean? And like, Dak's a solid quarterback, but I don't know. I just don't think he needs Mark Cooper. Michael Gallup, another guy who's coming up. He had a great season last year. Shout out to Michael Gallup, who actually helped out my fantasy team a lot when Juju wasn't able to do anything because of Mason Rudolph. But yeah, so I thought that was an interesting move by the Cowboys to get CeeDee Lamb. Another thing that I was reading was that the Cowboys weren't influenced by anybody. You know what I mean? Like, if they were in the actual draft premises, or like they were getting calls or whatever, they probably would have been influenced to pick other people or something like that. But Jerry Jones just chilling on his yacht, and he's like, I want CeeDee Lamb. And you know what? It wasn't the worst pick. Wasn't the best pick, but I mean, CeeDee Lamb is still a great player, and he's really gonna, contribute to that team. And they missed some defensive gaps there because, they lost Byron Jones, their best corner, so they did pretty well with filling up their gaps. And the third and last winner I have here is the Vikings, which, some of their moves this offseason. Well, I guess really the only major one was Stephon Diggs. I think it's good. It was good for them to, kind of. I mean, Stephon Diggs is great receiver, probably one of my favorites. But he didn't really mesh, I think, with the whole Vikings system. You know what I mean? Because Adam Thielen was also kind of there, so there wasn't really a defining. I guess he was more of a receiver one than Thielen was, but he just, he would always complain about the Vikings and not getting the ball enough, or post games being like, I want to get traded, stuff like that. It's hard to win when, players are kind of acting like that. Same thing. The Steelers had the same issues. The Antonio Brown and even Le'Veon Bell. So I'm not saying that's the reason why they couldn't win, because we couldn't beat the Patriots Foxborough, but yeah, so it was good for them to get that kind of player out, and then they replaced him with Justin Jefferson, who is a similar kind of player, and put up some great numbers, and It was a very smart pick for them in the first round, especially because they needed that receiver, and Justin Jefferson dropped down, and I was surprised the Eagles didn't take him. I know they still took a receiver. I think it was Jalen Roger from TCU, but still solid pick. They needed a receiver, but I was kind of surprised they didn't go with Justin Jefferson. But not saying the Eagles made the wrong pick there, but I was just surprised. I just realized that lamp was in there the whole time. So that kind of covers the winners. So the headliner of the losers, is my Pittsburgh Steelers. My opinion, they did not do a good job this draft. At first, I thought they did. But, then I kind of looked at who was available, like when they drafted, and I thought they did a bad job. So, and nothing against Chase Claypool, but when, your running back's James Conner, who I love James Conner. I hope he stays on the Steelers. He just made a statement the other day that he wants to. So, love that he wants to stay with us. But and then also you have a quarterback who, just had elbow surgery, and he's getting up there, and people in his class, like Eli just retired last year, and Phillip Rivers, he doesn't have many years left. But yeah, so I thought Jalen Hurts was a solid. It would have been a solid replacement, or at least a trial run. I mean, he's gonna be a better trial run than Mason Rudolph. He has to be. No one can be. I'm sorry, but no one could go worse than Mason Rudolph. I don't know how he was that bad. I mean, he had a great defense and everything. Sorry, I get too into it when it comes to Mason Rudolph because I just don't like him, and I think we really need a quarterback replacement, and he is not the answer. But so back to the running back thing, J.K. Dobbins was available. I know I was kind of wanting Jonathan Taylor, but I knew he went to the Colts earlier, so I saw J.K. Dobbins there, and then they picked Chase Claypool, which it makes sense. He's a big receiver, and the Steelers kind of needed that big guy, but I just don't know with the people available. It was a solid pick, but I just think there was better players available that could have filled out our roster better. But you also have to think that they had we had less picks this year, because of some of the trades we made last year in the draft when we traded up to get Devin Bush, which I love because the Steelers don't they don't make many moves like that, and when they do, they're usually pretty smart. So I think the Devin Bush trade was great for them, and I was glad when it happened, and I'm still glad because he had a great season. He was probably our leading tackler. But so we had less draft capital to kind of work with, and again with we traded our first round pick for Minka Fitzpatrick, another great pickup. He played amazing, in my opinion. If Ben would play with that defense, Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson might have, something to look out for now that the Patriots are gone. The Steelers could be the new top dogs. You never know. So yeah, that was kind of my favorite pick was Alex Highsmith, the defensive end. I thought we really needed him, especially because I know we franchise tagged Bud Dupree. He could be gone. I know he's an outside linebacker, but most of the time he's an edge rusher. So I thought he was a great pick. But besides that, I wasn't really that much fan of that many picks. So, but they did a pretty okay job with what they did. But I still consider them a loser because we didn't get Jalen Hurts or J.K. Dobbins, who I really wanted. But it's all good. So the next loser I have is the good old Patriots. I feel like every NFL fan loves to see, obviously besides Patriots fans, loves to see them lose or have a bad trade, whatever. In this case, they had a bad draft. They really did. I know it's Belichick, and he doesn't always have to explain what he's thinking or what he's doing because most everything he's tried has worked. But I thought it was kind of weird for them to trade out of the first round, in my opinion, especially when they really needed some replacements, especially on offense. Julian Edelman's a solid receiver, but he's not a number one receiver. Okay, he's just not, and he's getting up. He's getting up there in age too, and we don't have Brady anymore. Julian Edelman's not going to be the same guy because you're not going to have the same quarterback like Tom Brady. So, and they didn't have to pick a quarterback there, but even so, they needed a tight end. You could argue that they need receivers, and I mean their defense is solid, but like they're kind of older, so like I don't really get that trade, but I guess you could make a case for it because they got a second and third round pick. Um, but the only offensive players they drafted were two tight ends, which I thought was a little weird in my opinion. I mean, they needed tight ends, don't get me wrong, but I mean, I don't know if I would have drafted like two of them, and then to not pick a wide receiver or a quarterback when you just lost like arguably the greatest quarterback of all time. Obviously he's getting up there, but when Brian Hoyer is said to be your week one starter, you would think you would want like even a little bit of a backup plan. Like, I still don't understand why they don't sign Cam, even to a 1 year deal. Like, I still don't understand why he's still out there. I don't know how Jameis Winston was signed before Cam Newton. Maybe because he played the whole season. I don't know. And the Patriots picked a kicker in round 5. I know they need a kicker, but like, do you really need one that badly in the 5th round? I always hate when teams pick kicker. No, I'm not dissing on kickers or punters or anything because, they're part of the team too. But like, a kicker in the 5th round, are you kidding me? Like, you could have had so many. Just draft a quarterback at that point. If you're picking a kicker over a quarterback when your quarterback is Brian Hoyer, like I don't understand that. I don't understand that. But maybe a couple like years down the road turns out to be the best kicker ever, and I'm wrong. But I that pick just didn't make sense to me. So the last loser I have, and you guys probably saw this coming, was the Packers. I mean, I just feel bad for Aaron Rodgers. I really do. When you've been with the team so long, you showed your loyalty. You brought them a championship. You've made them a successful franchise for a while. You would think they would reward you with, a skill player, a wide receiver, offensive lineman, even on defense, some defensive help. But no, they are gonna pick your heir to the throne, who threw 17 picks last year, and Jordan Love in the first round. I don't know. I said this in the previous episode that it didn't make sense to me how he was a first round quarterback. I still don't understand that in my opinion. Until he proves me wrong, I don't think he is going to be a consistent NFL quarterback. I think he's just going to be like Jameis Winston, where he could put up numbers like 3 yards and touchdowns, but he's probably going to equal the touchdowns with picks. So like, I was not a fan of that first draft pick. Like, they just needed more like skill players. Like, I know they have Devontae Adams at receiver, but like, after that, it's kind of there's not really any like star power there. So my opinion, they really should have gone with a skill player there. I don't know. I was just not a fan of that Jordan Love pick. I know they did the same thing with like Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. Like, they drafted Aaron Rodgers and he sat for a couple of years. And he turned out to be a great quarterback, definitely first ballot Hall of Famer. But I don't think Jordan Love is going to turn out the same way. He could. Don't get me wrong. He could. He could learn from Aaron Rodgers. He could do that. A lot of teams seem to, let the younger quarterback sit out a year, kind of learn from the starting quarterback, because that's the way Mahomes was kind of the first one to, like, I mean, I guess Rodgers was they were the first ones that did it, but more recently, Mahomes was behind Alex Smith for a year when drafted by the Chiefs, and obviously, my opinion, he's the best quarterback in the NFL right now. Came off winning the Super Bowl, so can't diss on the Packers strategy too much for because the strategy worked for them before, but I just don't know if Jordan Love was the quarterback choice for them to pick. That kind of wraps up this episode. I just wanted to thank you guys again for the support you've given me, through Instagram, just texting me, whatever. I was really surprised, to be honest. I wasn't expecting people to be like so encouraging, and I just wanted to thank you all, and I appreciate for you guys doing that. Just don't forget, put suggestions in the comments, or text me, whatever. I'm always looking for suggestions. I know this is like this podcast has a lot of room for improvement, but I'm always looking for suggestions. Let me know. I'm trying out the camera this time because I figured looking at me talking is a lot better than looking at a next on deck circle. But that's your opinion. Maybe the next on deck circle is better. I don't know. I will try to get my dad on for the next episode. With this quarantine, hopefully some people might be able to come on. But just let me know if you guys would be interested in that, like, kind of team like prediction or like analyst series that would kind of look at their future or like where they're at now. So just let me know, and just stay safe out there with this whole coronavirus. I know we went to, or at least Cumberland County went to yellow recently, but just stay safe and keep that mask on. Audio Jungle.